AI isn't just taking over music or even writing essays. It's also entered the world of social media influencing. You can find a variety of profiles with a large following, but how do they keep it? Well, one company behind these AI influencers are enlisting the experts on everything trendy, teenagers. And they're not just telling them how to stay relevant, but also pointing out what could be done better. ABC's Emmanuelle Saliba with the details.
You might have come across one of these influencers on your social feeds without realizing that not a single one is human.
They all have different names and personalities.
Well, my favorite ones are Agnes, and she's kind of like a dark academia, like a writer.
Sid, which is like a seaside kind of seaweed girl.
And then there's Billy, who's like this cowboy, and then he's also like a drag queen, which I think is pretty cool.
These AI influencers were created with the help of humans like 16-year-old Sawyer and Eden. They are paid by a startup called Lee, which says it's creating an ecosystem of AI-driven micro-influencers they call entities.
So we have co-creators that help with actual entity development. So the virtual influencer themselves, what do they look, feel, move through the world like? But also, what is the content that they're putting forward?
Sawyer and Eden were part of a small group testing the concept earlier this year.
You click on some images, just kind of sort through them.
You're like, oh, this one is like too symmetrical, or it's like too perfect.
See, she's got only 4 fingers, it looks like. And she's also eating full apples with chopsticks. That's not realistic.
Like this one, for example, I think that's like very much what Agnes likes. So like I just like go in and like pick it, and then it gets sent. And that's really it.
Lead says they will soon launch another group of creators who will be able to control an AI persona via an app. But this startup isn't the first to venture into the world of entirely synthetic influencers. In 2016, another company introduced Lil Miquela, an AI-generated character with a total fan base of over 7 million across platforms. And it's not just the large following. Miquela is partnering with brands like BMW, PacSun, and more.
I think I realized that AI influencers were here to stay when I started seeing them doing video and doing it in mass, right? Because first, it popped up with Miquela a couple of years ago, and it was kind of cool because she looked a little uncanny valley. You could tell that she wasn't quite real. It was interesting what technology could do. And then they started doing video. And it would be, doing a hair video, and they were talking about how they love their new hair product, but it wasn't real.
Human influencers like Danae Mercer are warning their followers to be careful about what they consume on social media.
It is not even based in the foundations of reality. It is not taking my face and popping a filter on it. It is creating something probably to suit the male gaze that is hyper realistic. So I hope you have brands saying like, wait a second, she doesn't have hair. Should we actually sponsor her for a hair campaign? She doesn't work out. Should she really be taking our supplements? Her body is not real. But what about the teenage girl that looks at this very delicate, impossible standard of beauty and starts comparing herself to that and sees brands endorsing that and sees that person getting Instagram fame, which in today's world is currency for teenagers? What about that girl? And that is where Instagram and social media needs to step in and say, this isn't real, this isn't real, this isn't real.
Now that I've kind of familiarized myself with a lot of different AI images and, what to kind of look for, it's easier to point out the kinds of things that AI gets confused about.
AI stuff looks very filtery and very like way too perfect or way too weird to like be real. The makeup will look perfect and the lighting is perfect and the angle is perfect. Like that's not usually what happens in human photos.
You're just picking images that other people are gonna see and compare themselves to. Part of me wishes that there were more, realistically human characteristics.
Like everything, there are limitations to where the technology is today from an image generation standpoint and how raw that looks. What can we do that's proprietary to make some of these images a little bit more real?
The Partnership on AI, a nonprofit coalition committed to responsible use of AI, has created a set of guidelines for social media companies to ethically distribute and label AI-generated content.
There's a general push in the field for broader transparency about identifying and noting to audiences in different contexts. You want to know that what you are seeing is truthful in terms of the narrative and what they're presenting, not necessarily just the tool that they used to do that.
Meta says they label photorealistic images created using their own AI tool, but they don't require users to label AI-generated influencers created using other tools. Users on TikTok must clearly disclose all realistic AI content. And both platforms say they are working on tools that could detect and automatically label AI content.
There's a visceral appeal to putting a little mark on TikTok or a mark on Instagram that says this is fake. But whether or not people care and whether or not that will be applied in a context that matters is a big open question.
AI is going to become more and more like prominent kind of in like social media world and just like society in general. So I think it's like good that like younger people and older people too like get to like play around with that.
In a 2023 study, more than half of a group of influencers polled said they were already using AI as part of their work. 34% said they used it to generate images or videos.
Ultimately, I'm personally able to like understand what's real and what's not. Seeing it used in like a creative way makes me kind of, hopeful that it's not, being used to just like destroy artists and all this terrible stuff that you think about.
Just because something's AI generated doesn't mean it's problematic or deceptive. We need to make sure that while it may seem fine for influencers to be, saying that this new lip gloss is really meaningful, we don't want that same technology to be used to cast doubt on much more, I would argue, high stakes use cases than lip gloss.
Yeah, no doubt the conversation around AI in every aspect of our lives will continue.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.